Hi, I'm Kelsey with Van City Training Camp. I am going to work out today doing day 2 of the Intro to Strength Training. I've already posted day 1, so this is going to go within that program. We're going to start with a warm-up. This is my favorite warm-up, which I demoed in day 1 also. So we're going to start with the Cossack Squat. So you're going to shift your weight to one side, stretching through the inner thigh. And you want to dip down as low as you can. This is your warm-up time. Find the tight points and switch. In day 1, I mentioned if you're just starting out and your heels are popping off the ground, that's okay. But now we're into day 2, and I really want those heels to stay down. So yours might look different. It might mean that you're up higher, but I want you to kind of listen to your body and find where you feel tight and stick in those points and really make the most of this warm-up. So we are going 10, and I think this is 9 and 10. And we're gonna go into a long lunge twist. So I'll just turn from the side, step 1 foot forward. I'm stretching through my back hip, and then I'm gonna do a nice twist towards the knee that's forward, back to the middle, and twist. And we're doing 5 each side, so it's very quick. And a nice opportunity to get warm and ready. And then switch other side. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. Next one, feet about hip width apart. We're going to start by stretching through the back of the legs, hamstrings, reach for your toes. And we're either going to do a yoga squat or a toe touch squat. So the toe touch squat, I'm going to pull up on my toes, create tension, and I'm going to send my hips down, chest open. If that's not there for you, then just bring it to a yoga squat. That's great. I'm going to walk out to a plank, hips down, chest open, some spinal extension, stretching through the abs. We're going to do 5 of these, so 4 more. Again, finding your tight points. Don't be slack in it. Arms straight. Walk it out. 2, 3 left. Hips down. Final 2, and I already feel my hips getting looser and a little bit more warm because I am working out today too with you guys. So I want to be ready for this. So, all right, that was the last one. So we're going to finish how we started with that Cossack squat. And already with that little bit of movement, I feel warmer. So I'm going to start pushing a little bit deeper, and you might find the same thing with that work we did. And again, going for 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the mat for a little bit more of a warm-up. I feel loose and ready. Mobility started. What do I have? Okay, we're gonna start with a side plank. So I'm gonna do a kickstand side plank, and this is gonna go for 30 seconds. I have a couple variations though that I wanna add into this. So head to toe, nice long torso, everything's even. You're not wrapping back, twisting forward. For some of you, this is enough. Hang out for 30 seconds. Otherwise, if you feel like an extra challenge, we're gonna lift and lower the top leg. And it's a nice small lift. So you don't need to jack your leg up. You want to keep nice and long through the leg and through your obliques. And we're going to go for 10, 9, 10, and switch. So bottom leg bent, nice long torso, holding here for 30 seconds in a side plank if that feels good for you today. Otherwise, we're going to lift that top leg. Even my thumb, if I put my thumb on my glute, I can feel the top part of my glute lifting my leg. You want to avoid anything down the thigh. So really try to narrow in to that glute and where you're feeling it. And 10. Okay, next one, you got about 20 seconds rest. I'm going to write the program out too and have it in the description box. But we're going to do some abs. Just to get everything connected. I mean, everybody loves abs, but just get everything connected today and set up for our training session. So I have a couple options. One, you're gonna bring your knees up 90 degrees. Keeping the connection in your abs, you're gonna drop one heel to the floor, back up, same heel to the floor, and back up. And we're gonna go for 15 each side. So in this one, I'm not reaching for the floor, I'm not changing my position. I stay 90 degrees, and once I'm done 15, I'll do the other side. You can also take a break between legs. The biggest thing is finding that connection to your abs. And if that's all that I can do and get you into that in the warm-up, that's awesome. A lot of times people will feel their low back. Your hip flexors might burn, that's okay. We're still in the right area, but finding that connection to the abs is really important. Another option is bringing one knee into the chest, one leg out long, and you're gonna lift and lower that leg with control, really staying connected to the abs. And again, we're going 15 each side. And again, if you want another challenge from that, you're gonna straighten the opposite leg and you're gonna lift and lower the other side for 15. So I think this is about 15. I think I did 5 of all of those. So you can pick which one works for you today. It's far better to feel that connection to the abs and really ingrain that into your training, that you're focusing on areas, you're not pushing yourself into uncomfortable places just because you think you need to go there. Lay a really strong foundation and build yourself up week to week. It's the whole reason why I wanted to pop these intro to strength training programs up and hopefully have a few progressions, because I'd like to see people have access to this kind of stuff and increase their strength week to week. I think this is my last one. Boom. Okay, so we're gonna do one more set of each. So again, you get about 20 to 30 seconds, and then when you're ready, we're gonna go back into that side plank. So elbow under my shoulder, bottom knee is bent, nice long line. And then from here, maybe in week 2, week 3, you start to lift the leg, nice and controlled. I feel the top part of my glute lifting the leg. I'm avoiding anything down the thigh, lifting my leg, and we're going for 10. And I think that's 10. It's hard to count and talk. I'm struggling. All right, 10 on this side, nice long torso, head to toe. Lift the leg if that feels good for you. Nothing is moving for me. I'm staying very strong and sturdy, so I'm not dropping. My hips are pressing up. And 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. All right, last time with those leg lowers. So you've picked which one works for you today, and try to stay consistent with that one week to week, because then you're going to see your strength improve every single time. So whichever you want, 15 each side. Staying connected to those abs. You might feel the hip flexor, and that is okay. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and getting ready for the other side, 15. Last time we're doing this. I am definitely feeling warm and ready for the workout, and my abs are lit up. Last 8. Last 2. And last 1. Woo, good. Okay, abs connected, I'm warm and ready, and we will get ready for the first couple of exercises today in day 2. Okay, exercise 1, we're gonna start with our front foot elevated split squat. I love to hate these, they're awesome, but they are uncomfortable sometimes. It requires a lot of hip mobility, which is great. We wanna be stretching those hips, we wanna be opening the hips. I wanted to show you different versions to make this a little bit easier for you and start from what feels right. So you can use a bench, you could use a chair, you could use something high, and then what I'm aiming to do is push my knee past my toe. So I have a nice stretch in this hip, as well as a stretch through my calf and my ankle. And our tempo on this is 3 seconds on the way down, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, and up, and 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, and up. So if that height is good for you, great, keep it there. I wanted to show you that you can have lots of options. You can bring it down lower. So this makes it a little bit harder. It requires a little bit more hip mobility. And we have this little guy too. So we've got lots of options. So again, same thing, 3 seconds on the way down and up, 3 seconds on the way down and up. I'm gonna work with this plate here. This is kind of the size that I'm used to. This is definitely gonna get my hips loosened up, which I need today. Our rep range is 17 to 20, 3 seconds on the way down, and then I'm gonna show you our upper body exercise, and we have a nice superset here, lower body to upper body, just like day 1. So 17 to 20, I'm gonna start on my left side. My left side is my more difficult side. And up, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, up. And I'm working really hard to keep this heel down. Don't let that creep up. I'm stretching through my back hip, and I'm moving forward and back. This is not a down and up motion. We are moving forward and back. Also check in if your back toe is pointing forward. Don't let it cheat out. Find those tight points. This is a great exercise for the glutes. A lot of people want to build nice glutes. This is your go-to. This is also a great lead-in teaching people how to squat, and just a really nice, safe opener into a training program. Great challenge also, these are not easy. Final 6, I think. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and that burns. Woo! Okay, right side, same setup. So 3 seconds on the way down. I've got that nice flexion, pressing my knee forward. Lots of glute work here. Yes, your quads will burn too, but deep, deep hip flexion, no matter what, you are getting those glutes. 6. So we're in this 17 to 20 rep program, which is muscular endurance. Great for stability. It's also great for people coming into training to find their RPE, which is how much you push yourself, your rate of exertion. So people will find it easier, you might find it easier to push yourself for 20 reps really hard, as opposed to 5 or 6 reps, where the intensity and the demand would be really high. So this is a nice place to start, and you're gonna get a lot out of this program. But really be diligent with the form and the reps, and you have 20 reps to really practice that form. So you have lots of time to get the most out of this exercise. I think this is 20. Woo! Okay, legs are burning. 30 seconds rest, and we're gonna do a TRX pull up. I like the TRX, it's not my favorite. I rarely bring it out. I think it's a good tool for traveling or for home. We did a lot of home workouts. But in terms of intensity, and mechanics. There's other options that are much better. If this is all you have, that's great, but I just didn't want everyone to think that I was a TRX crazy person. They're not crazy, but it's not a tool that I use often. I use it for this pull-up because of the physical demand that you get from it. So my body is the resistance, and I'm gonna pull up and then 3 seconds on the way down. The higher you are, the easier it is. The lower you are, the harder it is. And this requires a lot of abdominal strength to keep you nice and solid. So this is a great tool to bring in to day 2 training, get those abs working, start learning how to leverage your body weight. Great challenge. And everybody wants to be able to do chin-ups. And we're in a stabilization phase here, 20 reps. So you can start setting that goal of doing a chin-up maybe a little later on. And this is a nice place to start pulling that weight up, getting that sensation of what a chin-up would be like. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! All right, 30 seconds rest. We're doing 3 sets of this. So I have 2 sets left, split squats and TRX. So I'm gonna add a little bit of weight to my split squat. Got like 15 seconds. These split squats are really hard to add weight to. I really would recommend starting high and then working yourself down to a plate this size. Once you're here, if you can get all reps, all sets, body weight with good form, then add weight. But yeah, don't feel the pressure to be adding weight just because I'm showing it here. I just wanted to give you an idea of the form. So shoulders back, dumbbells are relaxed at my sides. I'm not swinging them up. I'm keeping them tight. My body doesn't move. And I'm getting deep into this hip flexion. Another thing to focus on is where your knee is tracking. Knee caving in can be a lot of weakness in the glute med. Could be stuff through the VMO too. It could be a lot of things, but use that 3 seconds to press your knee out. Every bit of this exercise is an opportunity to get stronger, more mobility, find those weak points. So try not to waste your time at any point. Stay connected. Make the most of every single rep that we're doing. Stretch. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Woo! Okay, right side. Same thing. 3 seconds on the way down. Stretch through that hip. Good. 3, 4, 5, 6. Final 10. Check in with where your back toe is. Make sure it isn't creeping out. Stay strong. I know these burn. My legs are burning right now. Final 3. Final 2. Final 1. Woo! Okay. 30 seconds rest, and we're going back to our TRX. Legs are burning, legs are burning. "15 seconds. If you find this rest time is too short, and you're not feeling so great, you can take 45 seconds, you can take a minute, and then just watch that week to week. Maybe the second week you can do 45 seconds, and then the third week you can do 30 seconds, and keep pushing yourself to bring that rest time down. All right, 20 reps, so abs. I've also got to hold a glute bridge. Great full body exercise, great use of the TRX, stabilizing my whole body. Last 5. Woo! Final 3. Final 2. Final 1. Woo! Sit my butt down. All right, 1 set to go. 30 seconds rest. Definitely feeling it. 20 reps is not easy. Definitely get me going. Making me sweat. But one more time, and then we're out of this section, which is so nice. This is probably the hardest one. I feel like split squats, the hardest one. This is, again, from Poliquin, which I think I mentioned in day 1. I recommend researching different strength coaches if you're interested. Sometimes these get posted on social media more for marketing than for the actual benefit of them. But whatever motivates you to work out, you know, that's great. But these are really good glute builder, hip mobility, everything. Just worth it, but they're not easy. Final 10 on my left. Last 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Woo! Okay, right side. Last time I'm doing this. 3 seconds on the way down, stretch that hip, make the most of every set. Tempo is really important in training. Even if you aren't tracking tempo, and you're just going through the motions, it's still a certain time under tension that you're doing. The whole benefit of working with a trainer is that we simplify things and try to make your life easier and lead you to your goal in the easiest possible way. So we dial in on tempo, rest times, the reps you're doing, the resistance you're using, and that is the benefit of working with a coach. I definitely think staying disciplined with a program for 4 weeks is really important. The best way to see results. Final 3. Woo, burning. Final 2. And final 1. Woo, mamma mia. I burned. Okay, we are done with split squats. 30 seconds, 1 more of these, which is tough. It's definitely gonna be tough. Definitely gonna push me. Definitely feeling it. Whew. Okay, 5 seconds. Last time. Here we go. Five more, you got it. Dig, dig, dig. Whew. Okay, 3, 2, last one. Oh my God, okay. That burned. And I created this program. This is my own fault. Did this to myself. All right, we are done with this section. Moving on to the B series. So rest, grab some water, and we're gonna do step-ups. On to the B series, which is step-ups, small box, and a dumbbell shoulder press, which I'll show you. So this nice small box is great for starting with step-ups. I've even had people go lower. This plate, I was gonna pull over to demo, but I've had people work with step-ups with this height, which is totally fine. Start where feels right for you. This is already can be a lot for a lot of people, so whatever feels good. Typically with small box, when you pop your foot up, your knee and your glute are in line, or here I'm a little bit higher. When you go higher, like as if I had a really high box, then you're looking at really deep flexion, which is great. For my height, for me, I'm gonna add a bit to this, but find what works for you that you're stepping with this 90-degree angle. We're gonna go 17 to 20 reps each side. You can go body weight. Like I said, step-ups are demanding. Nobody likes step-ups. We're gonna stay all on one leg, up, and I'm gonna go 1,000, 2, 1,000 down, 17 to 20 reps each side. I have the dumbbells at my sides. I am not swinging them to help me up. I am staying nice and tight and controlled. Whether you add dumbbells or not, you wanna watch where your knee is tracking. So again, if your knee is caving in, pop it out, connect to that glute, and stabilize. So I can only give you so many cues, but you really have to be diligent, sticking with your form and watching where that knee's going. Actively doing the work. We're doing the work right now. I have some people say, well, shouldn't I, is there something I can do? This is hard. And yeah, it is hard. But this is what we're doing. And what I say goes today. So we are doing small box step-ups. Again, pick a height you can manage. It does not have to be this height, but I wanted to give you that angle to show you kind of what a lot of strength trainers mean when they're writing small box or high box or medium, just a reference point. And I definitely lost count, like a typical trainer, talking too much. I think this is my last one. All right, and right side. I'm starting on my left because my left is weaker, and I highly recommend you pour your energy into that side. Typically, everybody has a discrepancy between sides. You can close the gap between the two of them by doing single leg work, unilateral work, but it still remains, you know? Still remains. So again, another great glute exercise here. We've got lots of glutes today, especially in our finisher. I don't know if you can see the hip thrust behind me, but that is a sneak peek of what's coming up. Final 5. Again, where's your posture at? Where are those dumbbells at if you're using them? No swinging. Final 2. Final one, and boom. 30 seconds rest. We're gonna move into a dumbbell shoulder press. Great combination. Catch my breath, 15 seconds. So dumbbell shoulder press, this is a very general strength training program. That doesn't mean that it's right for you. There's lots of variations. So I'll show you from the side. When you press up, you wanna be overhead. So depending on your mobility, you might be here. I'm gonna give you another option, which will be on a bench. If that's the case, I'll show it on the next time. But for the dumbbell press, straight up, 3 seconds on the way down, press. A lot of coaches that I work with like this staggered stance. So I kind of got into doing this training, working with them, learning from them. This was a long time ago. And so I usually teach this staggered stance, and it is to avoid over excessively arching your spine on the lift. So pop one foot forward, it doesn't matter which. You don't have to switch it. Keep your core tight. 3 seconds on the way down, 17 to 20 reps. I think I have 3 more now, but again, losing count as I talk. And final one. And you want to pick a weight that brings you to muscle failure at 20 reps. And our range is 17 to 20. So you can start to push that weight as the weeks go on. Maybe you hit 17. That's great. Keep challenging yourself, keep pushing yourself. And I would also not try to do the same weight for step ups that you're doing for shoulder press as I'm doing right now. I just have this set pulled out, but my legs can definitely do a lot more than my shoulders can do. You might be different, that's fine. You wanna judge where you're at. Try not looking at other people's weights. All right, here we go, set 2, up, 2 seconds control on the way down. 20 reps. Watch where that knee is tracking. Don't swing those dumbbells. And I am staying consistent in my tempo, up and down. And my back foot is pretty close to the box as I step down, and it's pointing forward. So you don't want this turn out. See how that completely changes my left hip position. So standard step up. I don't want to overcomplicate things because this is stepping up and down in a box again and again. But yeah, there is some technique to it, little points that I notice with clients when I'm starting out with them. The toes turning out, the knees caving in, dumbbells swinging. So just try to stay diligent with your form and keep yourself to that. Hold yourself to that. Hold yourself accountable. And last one. Woo! All the way down. Switch sides. Same thing. Final 10. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Done, 30 seconds. One more. Our next up is shoulder press. We have 3 sets of this, so we're halfway through. Breathe, rest. I also encourage you to track your weights. Maybe you did body weight there, that's great, but write down week 1, body weight, all reps, all sets. For your shoulder press, maybe it's 5 pounds, maybe it's 10 pounds. Make sure you write that down. Keep track of it week to week. So my dumbbells are pressing straight up overhead. I just remembered I was going to show you guys that option, which I will when I finish this. Last 3, 2, and 1. Okay, I'll use my rest time to show you. So we're just going to come over to this bench here. All right, so if you found that your arms were pulling forward, again, this is a general program. When I'm working one-on-one with someone and I've done assessments and I've seen how they move, I might put together a little bit of a different upper body sequence to help open your shoulders up, stabilize your scapula, all of that. But for this general program today, this is a great alternative. So I'm at a nice incline, 3 seconds on the way down, and press, so I'm not totally vertical. I have support behind me. And I'm going to do the same thing, 3 seconds on the way down, 17 to 20 reps. And it's a nice, more comfortable position for your shoulders to track if that overhead press just wasn't working. Okay, let's finish our last set, and then we're done with this B series. So I'm going to go into last round of step-ups, up, 2 seconds on the way down. I've stayed consistent with my form throughout. And again, like, not all reps look perfect, but out of 20, try to get as close to 100% as you can. If I was going for max weight here, my last few reps would probably look like shaky, dragging it up, but it's up to me to stay connected and diligent with my form even when I'm pushing that limit. So hold yourself to that. I've done a million of these, so I might be moving faster than you, and that's okay. Work with where you're at. Start at that small height and just keep progressing week to week. Final 6 on this side, I think. Last 2, last 1, excellent. Okay, right side. Another question I get asked usually very early on, especially with this 20 rep program, is how do I breathe while I work out? And you can hear me, my breathing's elevated, still able to talk, which is pretty standard for 20 reps in terms of the intensity. So that is a good sign that you're breathing. And that's all that matters at this point. Try not to overthink it because you can end up making yourself feel sick or hyperventilating. It is usually that we exhale on the contraction, inhale on the way, on the eccentric, which would be this portion. So it would be like, and then, but doing that for 20 reps, as opposed to just finding this steady aerobic breath, which is the energy zone that we're in right now. This is aerobic work, is far more efficient. As you get stronger and more experienced with training, we're going down to low reps, high intensity. You will have to be conscious of your breath, and it'll start to fall into place naturally because you won't be able to achieve the lift you want to achieve unless you're totally tight with your form and your breathing. All right, I think that was 20, 30 seconds, and then shoulder press. Even on this rest time, I'm trying to get some nice breaths in, relax myself. I do that in my strength work too, even if it isn't aerobic. Use your rest time. Settle that breathing. You're fine. Everything's fine. We're all fine. We're gonna survive this. Just Breathe, rest, and ready for the next one. And 3 seconds on the way down. Ten halfway, final 10. 7, 6, 4. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. Woo, okay. B series done. You guys are more than halfway done the workout. We are going to move on to hip thrust next, which I love, and I'm going to show you how to set it up, different options, and I will meet you there after some water. All right, moving on to hip thrust. I love hip thrust. Awesome exercise for the glutes. We see it everywhere on social media, so I wanted to go over the setup for it. A lot of people only have access to these benches, which is great. It is high though, so I wanted to show you how to get onto this and then some different options. So for the hip thrust, you have a bar set up. Hopefully you have standard size plates. If you don't, it makes it really difficult to roll over the hips. So most gyms do have them, and that is helpful. And if you're struggling with your hip thrust, it might be the size of the plate that's making it hard. But I leaned back into this bench and shimmied my way up. And then I'm going to set my feet, hip thrust up, squeeze the glutes. So at this point, I kind of want my ankles right underneath my knees. 3 seconds on the way down. So I'm creating flexion in my hips. That allows me to create the tension in the glutes as I come up. 3 seconds, pause 1 at the top, and we're going for 17 to 20 reps. I'm gonna finish my reps here, and then I'm gonna show you guys some options for this, because this height is too high for a lot of people, but also the hip thrust is another version of a glute bridge. I have had lots of people in my class where one of our exercises is a hip thrust. Half of the people can't do it because all they're feeling is low back and their quads. That's totally fine. So we move it down to a mat and work on the glute bridge and connecting to those glutes. Final 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Okay, so I wanted to give you some options. If you are unable to do it with weight, maybe you have a couple of these foam blocks at your gym, and you can change the depth of this. So now I'm a lot higher, don't have as far to go, so you can practice your hip thrust motion from there. I forgot to say, I'm also very standard in how I teach this, that the toes point forward and the knees track forward. A lot of times, you'll get comfortable hip thrusting with the toes out. You might feel more glute med, might change the sensation that you feel in your glutes. But if you're starting a training program and you're detailing, then I'm very specific with how I want the feet and the stance. And it's always great to have those specifics and work in that zone. So this is an easier option if hip thrusts are not feeling great for you and you're not feeling glutes, because the whole point is for us to get our glutes. So add that height from the bottom. And then I'm going to just quickly demo a glute bridge. We did these in day 1 as part of the warm-up. This is the end of the workout, so you might be a little bit more fatigued. So it'll feel a little different than when we did it in day 1. But the glute bridge is just lifting and lowering the hips. My toes point forward, my knees point forward. I'm really getting used to that sensation of firing up my glutes to lift me up off the floor. And again, 17 to 20 reps. Great to start here. You might be here for a few weeks and then head over to a box and increase that height, that distance. Stay body weight until you feel comfortable to add weight. And I'm going to show you this. It has 12 inches written right on it. This is the box that I like to use. I find most people are good here, right up until 6 foot tall. You might not like it, that's fine. You might like a higher height, maybe you feel more glutes that way, but I do love working with people at this height. Makes them feel very structured in how they set up. Their hips are on the ground, they don't have to do that shimmy. Toes are pointing forward, knees are pointing forward. They can set up properly. We're gonna hip thrust up, pause 1, 3 seconds on the way down, and we're going 17 to 20 reps. I like hip thrusting with my chin forward. You can completely lean back on the box. Find what works for you. Again, I might start to get specific in what I want, depending on where you're at with training, how many years you've been doing this, what kind of results you're seeing, and if that's what you've hired me to do, then that's what I'm gonna do, is really narrow in and focus to try and get the best results for you. If you're feeling low back, quads, and you're losing glute tension, then I would say the weight is too heavy or working from this height is too much. And just listen to that, because we're here for glute growth and we want to make the most of it. Good. All right. 45 seconds, one more set. I put this exercise on its own because a lot of times when you're setting up at the gym, you don't have the luxury of walking away from your setup and going to superset something, especially for hip thrust or if it's hip thrust machine. They're so valuable and they're in high demand, so someone will come grab it. So just take your 45 seconds rest, hit your last set, and then you're done with hip thrust. This is a very short rest time for one exercise, which means we are accumulating a lot of tension in the glutes. We get set up to go. Final time, 17 to 20 reps. Pause 1, 2. To go. Last 3, last 2, last 1. Woo! And your glutes should be on fire after that. You are welcome. All right, so rest, grab some water. You can take down your setup or give the machine over to someone else, and we will move on to the last bit.